Today, I have a pretty cool project to talk about. I was recently approached by a homeowner who wanted to do some upgrades in their home theater. Now, a little bit of background. This home theater was built roughly 20 years ago, and it was quite outdated. As you'll see from the footage that I have, the projector, not great. The brand on the projector is Knoll or Knowles, Knolls, I believe. I've never heard of it. I don't know if they're still a company. I don't know. But anyways, that was the projector. That was what was installed. The AVR was a Pioneer AVR, pretty decent AVR, but again, outdated. And what the homeowner wanted to do was they wanted to upgrade so that they could bring in a streaming box. I suggested the Apple TV so that they could get their YouTube TV going in their home theater. They also wanted to just increase the picture quality. And they didn't want to do anything with the speakers because the speakers that were installed, they're pretty good speakers already. So they didn't really want to mess with that. So basically what they wanted done was upgrade the projector and upgrade the AVR. Now, when I roll in footage of the room, you're going to see many ways in which this room could be improved. But again, that was not the objective. The objective that I was given was, can you upgrade the video and the sound and bring it up to date? And so that's what I was tasked with. I wasn't tasked with, building a world-class home theater, because if I had, obviously, I mean, right off the bat, you're gonna see things like lack of sound treatment, darkened walls, blackout curtains, Atmos speakers, the list goes on and on and on. But the point is that given the objective I was given by the homeowner, I feel like I did a pretty good job. I think it turned out really well, and now they have a pretty solid foundation that they can then build on to do those further upgrades if they so choose. Now, this home theater is not owned by a home theater enthusiast. This isn't somebody like us that's really passionate about building home theater that just really rocks. That's not what their focus is on. But if at some point in the future they do want to do some of those upgrades, I'll be more than happy to help them out. So what did I do? So right off the bat, like I mentioned, that old projector, I knew that we could fix that. And what I ultimately went with was the new Epson LS11000. Now, the Epson new line of laser projectors, this replaces the 5050 UB and the 6050 UB, which the 6050 UB, that's what I have in my theater, and I've been really, really happy with its performance. Now, the 6050, that's a bulb-based projector. So that means you're going to get, 2,000, 3,000 hours on a bulb before you have to replace it. And if you go with an OEM replacement, you're looking at, $300+ to replace that bulb. A laser projector, on the other hand, they claim in the specs that you can get over 20,000 hours of use out of this projector, which by my calculation, that may outlive some of us. You may still have a working projector in your theater by the time you pass on, if you go with one of these laser projectors. So this is what I recommended to the homeowner. I said, let's go with the LS11000. Now, why did I go with the 11,000 versus the 12,000? Well, first of all, there's about $1,000 price difference. And then the second reason is the 12,000 is black and the 11,000 is white. Now, as you'll see in the footage from the theater room, it's light colored walls and ceiling in this room. And I thought, well, you know what, since they're obviously not going for a full blackout experience, having a white projector is not a problem. Not only is it not a problem, it'll actually blend in better with the decor of the room. So I said, hey, save yourself, $1,000 and go with a white projector. Now, the other thing is the 11,000 does not come with a ceiling mount. So we did have to buy that extra. So it wasn't totally $1,000 savings. The ceiling mount was a couple $100. I got a really, really good ceiling mount. It's actually from an integrator brand called Snap One or Snap AV. They've changed names a couple times, but it's Snap something, Snap AV, Snap One. And it's the strong universal projector mount. And what I really like about this projector mount is how easy it is to install. And once you have it installed, how easy it is to fine tune the adjustment. It tilts. It has 3 different knobs that you can adjust the mount. Once you have the projector up in place, 3 different knobs that you can do fine tune adjustments. And it goes front to back tilt, side to side tilt, and it pivots from side to side this way. So just an incredible tool. And the way the mount is designed, it's so easy, you can actually install it with just one person. Now, I did have somebody assist me. I climbed up on the ladder, and then I had them hand me the projector. But that was it. In theory, one person could install a projector by themselves. It's that simple. It comes apart into 3 pieces. You have the part that actually mounts to the ceiling. So you just screw that in with 2 or 4 bolts, depending on the configuration of the floor joists in your ceiling. And then you have the part that you screw onto the projector when it's on the floor. And then you have the intermediary part that's between those two. And then once you have those 2 pieces in place, then you take the middle part and it just swivels on. It just screws on to the part that's on the ceiling. And then you just take your projector and it just slides right into place. And then you lock it down with some lock screws, and it really is incredible. It was so easy. And I actually did a pretty good job of getting the mount initially lined up, that once I got it in place, I only had to do one of the 3 adjustments, and it was only like a few clicks because it was just a little bit crooked this way. And so I just brought it into alignment level. And I mean, that was it. It was so easy. Now, here's the other critical part about this upgrade project. The old equipment, namely the Pioneer AVR and the Knowles projector, there was no HDMI back in the day when this equipment was installed. And so the cable that was run from the equipment closet to the projector was one of those old component video cables. Remember those? The red, green, blue, three plugs on each end. Those were high quality. That was some fine video quality on those old cables. But now we have HDMI. So we needed to figure out a way to get an HDMI cable run through an existing ceiling. So what I did was I looked at first thing I did was I pulled the plate off the ceiling where all the cables went into, and I could see that what the integrator, the installer, had done, because they didn't have power for the projector, they ran an extension cord, literally, a power extension cord through the floor joists over to the equipment room. So I had the idea. I'm like, look, what I can do is I can just connect the HDMI cable to that extension cable as well as a string, and then I'll get on the other end and have somebody help me on this end, and we'll just use the extension cable to pull the HDMI and the string through. And once I get the HDMI through, then I'll undo the HDMI and then use the string to pull the extension cable back to the projector, because we still do need power there. And that's exactly what I did. And it worked out perfect. It was super, super easy. And so that way we were able to run a new up-to-date fiber optic HDMI cable. It was a 32-foot a 32-foot fiber optic HDMI cable, and we used about 30 feet of it. We only ended up with about 2 feet of extra. And so I estimated that just about perfectly. And so, yeah, once we got it in, worked perfect, and now it's fully up to date. Now, here's the tip. What they should have done was run conduit. They should have run conduit, a dedicated conduit from the equipment closet to the projector, so that then you can upgrade those cables easily. And so that's what I did in my theater room. I have conduit. So if I ever need to replace that HDMI cable for any reason, it will be a breeze to do so. And so I strongly encourage everyone, if you have the option, if you're doing a new build where you're able to run stuff through the walls, through the ceiling, run conduit. Don't just snake a cable through. It's easier to do the cable. It's easier in the short term, but long term, it will pay off if you take the extra time and do conduit. Okay, so once I got the HDMI cable installed, that was the first step because it all hinged on getting that HDMI cable. If we couldn't get the HDMI cable installed, we were dead in the water. So we did that first, and then we installed the projector, took down the old projector, installed the new projector, and because of the way the floor joists were, I was only able to put in 2 lag bolts into the projector, and that's why the mount is kind of skewed on the ceiling because I had to spin it so that I could get the 2 corners of the mount straight in line with the floor joist. But it looks fine. They have a nice cover that goes on into place once you get it all installed, and so it looks fine. Not a big deal. Once I got the projector in place, then I went and installed the new AVR. Now, what AVR did I go with? Okay, so we have in the room, we have a 7.1 setup. So no Atmos, but we do have 3 LCRs, 2 sides, and 2 surrounds. And so I needed something that had at least 7 channels of processing and amplification. And it just so happened that Onkyo's TX-RZ50 is on sale. It was, and I believe it still is now, for $1,000. That AVR, I think the MSRP on it is about $1,600, $1,700. It's on sale for $1,000, which is a screaming deal. It has direct live room correction. It is a great AVR. I've been using an Onkyo in my living room for years. I love it. So I've always been happy with Onkyo. And so that's what I recommended to this homeowner. I said, look, get this AVR. It has 9 channels. It's a 9.2 AVR. So they're only using 7 of the channels, which leaves 2 channels left over. So if they ever do decide to add Atmos, they could do 2 Atmos speakers with the existing AVR, and the TX-RZ50 actually does 11 channels of processing. So if you added an external 2-channel amp, you could actually do 4 Atmos channels with this AVR. I can't imagine them wanting to go that extreme, but they have the option if at some point in the future they decide to. So I got the Onkyo installed. I got to rip out the old AVR and those old component video cables and install the new HDMI cable, and now they've got a brand new up-to-date AVR. They've got a brand new 4K Apple TV. They've got their brand new Epson LS11000 4K E-Shift projector that now looks great. And yes, I know what you're going to say. The screen size is very small. It is. I believe that 20 years ago when this theater was designed, that projector, that was probably about as large a picture as that projector was capable of projecting. And that's probably why they went with the screen they did. The other reason potentially is perhaps back then acoustically transparent screens either weren't a thing or were low quality, and so they needed to leave room for the speakers. If I were going to upgrade this room, I would probably that would be my first step, would be to expand the screen size to fill the entire wall as much as possible and move the speakers so that the LCRs are in line level behind the screen with an acoustically transparent screen. That, I think, personally, that would be my first step. And then very next would be acoustic treatments. You know me, I'm a big fan of wall treatment, ceiling treatment to tame those echoes. But anyways, that's a project for another day. That wasn't what they tasked me with. So I got it. I was a little concerned that before I installed the projector. I'm like, I hope that the Epson will shrink down the picture. It will shrink down because it's back a fair ways from the wall, from the screen. And I had the thought, I hope I can shrink the picture down enough to fit within the screen that they have. But it did. It went in super easy. I'll tell you, there's a lot of things I love about these Epson projectors, but how versatile they are with being able to move the picture around, adjust it in, out, up, down, side to side, the focus. I mean, it is just so easy to get that just dialed in. I mean, I joke, but I think you could probably install the projector in the back corner of the room and still get it to project a clean image in the center of the wall on the other side. Like they're just so adjustable and versatile. So anyways, it turned out really great. Now, even with no blackout curtains, even with the white walls, even with the lights on, the picture, I mean, that LS11000, it puts out 2,500 lumens of brightness. So I mean, they call those Epson's light cannons for a reason. I mean, it is super bright. It was a really fun project. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to install the equipment and get it dialed in, get it all calibrated, and help them out. So yeah, thanks for watching.